Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at one of the new components, and specifically this is going to be the core temperature regulator, or the capital core temperature regulator, and this is needed now for any capital ships that are created, starting from 1 for carriers and dreads I believe, and all the way up to 40 for titans. Now, ordinarily I kind of focus a lot on cost of said items. However, this one specifically, we're going to be taking a look at both time to build and cost. And that's because I was stunned, I would say, when I came across the amount of time it takes to build these. So in order to build a capital temperature core regulator, you need 250 of the standard core regulators. Now, in order to do this, we're going to use, I'm going to use Tama, because I use Tama quite a lot in a lot of videos, and it's pretty decent for building stuff relatively quickly. So you can see here straight off, so in order to build the capital one, we've gone down from 250 cores down to 231, and we've gone down from 150 of the self-harmonizing and the integrated response drones down to 139, and it takes roughly 1 minute and 11 seconds to build. So nothing particularly out of the ordinary there, and 24 million ISK to actually finish said product. However, obviously we're going to break this down somewhat. So the core temperature regulator specifically, if we go down here, we can see that in order to build 233 of these, it's going to take 14 days and 16 minutes. And if we go to the Tama station and build it, it's going to take us 6 days. So as I said, don't worry, I am keeping a tally of all these so you don't have to. Right, so that's in order to build the carbon, the reinforced carbon fiber. So if we go back now, that was the reinforced carbon fiber, yes. So if we break that down to the thermoplastic polymers, again, we need, what was it? We need 60,000 of these, and in order to build 60,000, it is going to take us another 17 days. Now, the actual installation cost here is pretty much nothing. It's not really worth talking about, but again, that's 17 days. For whatever reason, I'm not really sure why we've got 60,000, 60,000 and 300, which just seems incredibly low. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That's 3 days, so nothing particularly out of the ordinary there. And then we have the carbon fiber, and again, we are looking at, we need 60,000 of these, and that is going to take another 17 days. Now, again, the installation cost is not worth talking about. So let's go back to the original, and again, now we need to have a look at the pressurized oxidizers. So pretty much the same thing again, we need 120,000 of these, so we are looking at a where are we? Build time of 17 days to get 60,000, so 17 times 2 is another 34 days, and an installation cost of, well, this one's pretty reasonable, 38 million ISK, so again, we're not really going to include that because it's such a low amount. Again, for sulfuric acid, in order to be able to produce this, we are looking at, what were we? We needed 60k. So 60k is going to take us 17 days again. And again, for the last item here, we've got this again. This takes 3 days, so we're not even going to count that. This takes another 17 days in order to produce the, what we're producing here, the carbon polymers. So let's just tally that up, shall we? So we had 6 days, 34, 17, 3, 17, 34, 17, 17, and 3. So in order to build one capital core, at one of the fastest stations that you will have access to as a free port, it's going to take you 148 days to build one capital core and 5.2 billion ISK. Now, I'm quite okay with these changes, and adding extra time is fine by me. It gives everybody an opportunity to do different parts of the puzzle, and I quite like that. But I think 5.5 billion ISK to build a capital core is absolutely nuts. And as I said, this is needed for every capital ship. You need at least one. So a carrier on that reckoning alone is 5.5 billion ISK just to build the components to build one capital core. We're not looking at any of the other components. We're not looking at materials. I've not even included the extra bits. It's just that on its own, just the installation cost. So I've not included the actual physical build cost of the item itself, just the installation cost. So obviously, you will be able to do this cheaper than the 5.5 billion depending what stations you're at. Now, again, I haven't picked Tama because it's the most expensive. I picked Tama because it's one of the quickest, and I was generally showcasing the amount of time it's going to take, not the actual total installation cost. But if you want to build it quick, you're looking at 5.5 billion ISK. Now, obviously, you can get that down quite considerably, but you are doubling the amount of time it's taking you. So we're going from 6 to 12, and that would be pretty much for everything else. You're going to double the amount of time it's taking. So instead of the 148 days, it's nigh on 300 days now to build a single capital core. So in order to build these for a Titan, I had to run the numbers a few times because this is quite startling, and I thought I had it wrong, to be perfectly honest with you. And I know in 0.0 obviously you've got access to different stations, so potentially you could make it slightly quicker, but bear with me. So for the calculation here, it took us 148 days to build one core. Now you need 40 for a Titan, which is 5,920 days, give or take. Divide that by days in a year. It's going to take you 16.2 years in order to build the components from scratch in order to be able to build enough capital cores for a Titan. And I don't know about anyone else, but that just seems absolutely nuts. Now, obviously, you do get 10 character slots per character, and you can have obviously as many characters as you can physically plex. But my word, if you were doing that on your own, that's just insane. So if you want to build it from scratch, just the cores, we're not talking about anything else. So the actual time is 16.2 years. So yeah, let's look at this another way, shall we? So instead of the 16.2 years, let's do it as a what was it? So 40 times 148 divided by 162, 16 years, divided that by your 10 characters. So if you used all 10 character slots, it would still take you, if you had 10 manufacturing slots open, it would still take you 1.6 years in order to build enough if you were doing it on your own. So yeah, I think the days of being able to just buy the minerals, build it yourself, or to be able to do any of this on your own is looking a bit slim nowadays. So again, I'm quite a big fan of this. That again, it creates opportunities for anybody getting into manufacturing. That again, you don't have to produce the product from start to end in order to be able to make some ISK. You can just concentrate on a specific area, and as a high-sec builder, that's generally what I do. Obviously, I don't mine moons, I don't mine minerals, I don't do PI. I buy the parts, combine them, and sell them on as a middleman for the time that it takes me in order to build the items. And I think this will create a lot of opportunities for people, because the sheer amount of time needed now to do all of the process yourself is just mind-boggling. It's literally exploded. And I think in order to be able to do the whole process, you either need thousands of volts or just like to torture yourself. So just scrolling here through some of the stations that you can obviously build in, and you can see here the cost is in the billions of ISK in order to make 233. But obviously you'd need slightly more because you'd need the extra. But either way, just looking through all round, you can see here, now we do get a drop every now and then, and that is, this drops down to 300 million instead of billions, and that is because, by the looks of it, you've got to go through a low-sec system in order to get here. Now, vast majority of them are, I say, in the billions of ISK, and I just find that really quite fascinating that it's just such a huge amount. Now obviously we can take it down slightly if we build in the ME here. So let's just have a quick look if we did do that in Tama, how much it would cost, how many we would need. what are we looking at? So I want the capital. That's the core. Let's have a look. View in industry. Come on. And build it in Tammuz. So we need 208. But again, it gives you a general gist and a good insight to what is coming. And I was quite stunned when I started doing the calculations on the time here. And so I say, this is just for one of the components. I haven't really done it on any of the others. I was looking for blueprints and that to buy, etc. And I just, as I say, came across this, started totting up the amount of time it would take, and was quite astounded by the sheer amount of time taken that you will need in order to, put the components together. Never mind actually mine the stuff themselves. And as I said, that's not even including the additional things that you need. But I suppose 400 million ISK at the end of the day isn't really that much when you're paying an absolute fortune to install 50 billion. No, that's capitals. Yeah, ignore me there. But yeah, so I hope that was interesting. It made me squirm a little when I first saw it, and some of the costs involved. And again, I think this will help hinder some people. Again, I'm quite looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see how this all pans out and how it settles, and whether, so say, CCP does do any intervention into the costs of everything in the end. But I think we will see quite a hefty cost in capital production, etc. Because bearing in mind, 148 days. Now, on average, when I'm researching BPOs, I am looking for about 75,000 ISK per slot per hour. Now, let's take that down to 50,000 ISK per hour. So, over the course of the day, your slot on your character is bringing in 1.2 million ISK, and again, we need 148 days in order to be able to produce one. That's an extra 177 million ISK just in time there for using your slots. And again, yeah, it's just ISK on ISK on ISK here to build, so say, capital ships. So it is going to be very interesting to see where the end cost does actually lie. And watch this space. So I hope that was interesting. Thank you for watching. And so say, if you haven't subbed, then please think about it. It's very much appreciated. Drop a like, drop a comment, anything that I've missed or whether some of my maths was off. I'm sure it possibly is, but yeah, I have done it a few times and come out with the same results, but it doesn't mean it's always right. So thanks for your time. I'll talk to you later.